You are recording in Zoom, right?
I'm recording in Zoom and with my other I just hit the record, so we're in the cloud, baby.
Okay.
I know it's been a long day. Lord knows what I'd be doing, but I have a giant cup of coffee, so it's only going to get better from here. All right, let's see. I I have my regular Zoom background, which is my actual house. But let me pop the chat open for a minute while we wait for everybody to come in. Dale was just telling me about something awesome that I wasn't aware of because I am not the connoisseur of all things Chrome extension. But he's got a Chrome extension. We're going to pop in the chat in just a little bit. Might as well wait, Dale, until we get to that because otherwise we'll be repeating it. But it's called Voyager, and I guess it removes the watermark in the Nano Banana, which is fantastic. Might be nice to have in the Chrome. So welcome in. And it's so cool to be doing a training in the evening. And I just feel like what a great way to hang out with all of you tonight. I had this last minute thought that we should do like a Ninja Nation, for our Ninja Nation group. Um, our community that we have is Ninja Nation, where you guys can go in and see all of your trainings. It doesn't have to be that you're a Ninja of the month. Anyway, Ninja Nation, I was thinking we should have a pajama party at the end of the month. And maybe just jump on and because I put on some comfy clothes and I thought, well, Kim, you could wear your pajamas at 1. She's in Hawaii, she said. It's only 1 o'clock. Yeah, I am thinking that once in a while we should do an evening class. I know not everyone can do evening. I know not everyone can do daytime. Um, but a 7 to 9 is not so bad. So we'll give it a shot. I'm definitely going to have to be sipping on my coffee there because I've been up since 4. So if I yawn, it is not you. I'm going to say it again. I'm so excited about this training. And let me tell you why. Because when I was trying to figure out what kinds of images I wanted to help everyone monetize. There's such a big long list, and I thought about doing a 3-day training, and I've done one of those before with Jonathan, and we ended up with I think 27 or 80 bazillion different ways you could do things. And for me, that just gets overwhelming. It's like, where do you start? And it's too many things. So I wanted to start doing a series that I'm going to do once a month called Pretty Pays, and we're just going to pick one style, one type of image, and have 3 to 4, maybe 5 ways that we can monetize that specific style of image. And that way, maybe we can start building up Rita likes one thing at a time. Me too. Um, Maybe we can start building up that reservoir of images that we're filtering out to people. And so I want to jump in and show you why I decided that I thought backgrounds was a great place to start. Okay, and I'm actually going to start in the doc real quick. So it is really funny that both Erica and I were testing out some last minute prompts. Of course, I made some last minute changes to the GPT because it was aggravating me. And we both were jumping into Midjourney almost at the exact same time. She beat me by about 30 seconds. And there's an update. Of course, there's an update. By the way, there is a Google AI update today also that's available in Google AI Studios if you're using API credits. But we're not doing that. We're using the free version. But either way, I just thought it was funny that there were 2 big image updates today, and of course, we just had the big update with Ideogram. So we're going to be checking out some different ways to use things in Ideogram. When we get in the doc, if you haven't used a Google Doc before, just know that if you come in here and you don't see tabs, just click on this and you'll see your tabs. And your replay link is going to show up here. Later on today, we've got a GPT, a skill, and an opal. We'll look at those in a few minutes. But before we jump into the slide deck, I just wanted to tell you guys it's not just some idea that I came up with, like, oh, backdrops would be cool. I did a lot of research. I had Claude help me, and I fact checked things with Manus and Perplexity because I never believe one tool. I like to get some backup. So photographers use backdrops, and photographers don't necessarily create their backdrops. Some of them probably do, but not everyone. A lot of photographers are purchasing backdrops for images. So say someone is getting newborn photos done, and you know how you see the baby in real life in like a little basket and there's nothing behind or there's a green screen. And then they go in and they place that image of the baby on a background, and then voila, you have the baby floating in the Milky Way or whatever's happening, right? All kinds of different images like that, not just newborn photos, but tons of images. And that digital backdrop, there's just for newborn digital backdrops on Etsy, there's over 5,000 listings. So just this page has some information just with kind of stats of how big this market is. And it's really something that I haven't seen a lot of people talking about, at least not in our circle. That's why I wanted to bring it up today. So if you're looking for, things like Fiverr, where a lot of people will sign up on the website Fiverr, and then, you're getting paid small amounts of money for things, and that's going to be kind of a bulk business. You would have to be doing a lot to really make good money. But if you have branded Zoom backgrounds for people's business where they're going to be professional, it's going to have their logo, it's going to be something that you can provide, to maybe everyone in a corporation, things like that, you're going to get more money for those. But you don't have to sell these types of things on Fiverr. You can absolutely, these are some websites that actually have Brand Wall Pro is its own business, and they're selling backdrops and backgrounds for like $50 a piece. So there is a market. And when we're finished, like when we're finished generating images, we're going to talk about some different ways that I recommend you get these out there. It's going to depend on specifically what type of image, what type of client you're going after. But there are a lot of ways that you can pretty much for free create these images and pretty much for free be able to market them to a large amount of people. Once you got in with a corporation or with a photographer, then you're looking at repeat business. And a lot of this stuff can just be done through social media. Sam was ringing the bell, but I told him no because we're staying in. This is my Zoom background. So we're going to take a look at the slide deck. And yes, I will make sure you guys get a link to the slide deck. It'll be a PDF when you have it. But here's our training. And so, the thing I say, we can all make beautiful images, but they'd be a little more beautiful if people were paying us for them. So, one skill, three markets. That's going to be my goal for this series. So, we're going to start with Zoom backgrounds for businesses, but also for individuals, right? Um, I just made one for my sister. She doesn't do that many Zoom meetings, but she thought it was super cool because her logo was in it, and she would absolutely pay money for that. And just as an aside, because this is just these three things, but the other thing to think about as we're going through this, upscaling images is another thing that you can do for people for money. People send me images all the time, like family members and friends. Can you upscale this for me? Just because they don't know how and they just assume that I do. And that's another service that you could add on to some of the things that you're doing for people, especially if you're already making images for people. You could add on an upscaled image that they could use in another way. It feels to us like it's so easy. You're like, oh my gosh, I could do it on Canva. I could do it on pixel art. Yep. But not everybody knows how to do it. All right. So the second one is photographer backgrounds or backdrops. This is what photographers are going to rebuy every season. Selling them in packs is a great idea. Just remember that when you're talking about like whatever quarter or season it is, you want to be very early for your season, because especially for photographers. So if you're selling Christmas backdrops, you really want to have them listed and be marketing them in September, because photographers need to get them, they need to be able to buy them from you, get them in, and be able to start taking photos so that they can have those photos back to their clients. So think early. The earlier, the better. And then party backdrops. Parents can buy these, businesses can buy these. Again, I was just talking to my sister about this training today while I was upscaling an image for her. And I reminded her that I could make those backdrops for her to use in her store. because she does have parties and events and, specials that they have running. So it's not just backdrops for people to have their photos in front of, but that's also awesome. It's also large images that they could put up in their window, that they could put up in their store, just a big stand up or a big cutout. All of those things seem really complicated to busy business people who don't know how to get it done. And so if you're selling the product to a business and you also give them the information on, hey, you can just download this digital product from me and then give them the information. Oh, well, if it's Zoom, I have step-by-step instructions in the doc for you guys that you can pass along to clients. Or locally people can go to office supply stores and things if it's going to be some kind of a backdrop that they're going to print out. But there are a lot of different ways to use this style images, and if we are looking to create a business where we're working with businesses, all three of these are going to be great. If you're also working with just with individuals and selling to clients, also, at least two of these are going to be amazing to use with just regular clients. So the virtual backgrounds for Zoom, you can think about them in terms of real estate agents, coaches, consultants, anyone who's going to be on Zoom regularly and wants to have something in the background that showcases their business. Also, if you're on LinkedIn, you should start marketing things like this on LinkedIn because that is a great market on LinkedIn for you to reach people that are either in business or large businesses. And one of the best ways to do that, I think, is to create some really great backgrounds and post them on LinkedIn, because people are going to see them and they'll ask you about them. Or you can post those backgrounds and then, of course, have your call to action where they could reach out direct to business by email or on LinkedIn. You can set up your own site. You can talk about it on social media, and you can also make videos, of course, to push things out. I would honestly start with these just on my own social media, just and in some other Facebook groups that allow you to promote, just kind of showcasing what you have. These prices are real. A lot of these things will sell for between $150 to $500, especially if they're branded and you're selling, say someone has a business and they have 15 employees and they want a branded Zoom background for each employee. That's going to be a decent gig. So the digital backdrops for photographers, who's going to buy them? Photographers, right? These are not people that these are not necessarily photographers, and mostly I'm not saying to target photographers who do AI photo booth. That's a completely different market. That's something else we could talk about another time. I'm talking about the photographer with a real old school Canon Rebel, and they're taking photos at events, and they're taking images for Christmas, for holidays, for newborns, etc. Okay. And then also think about all those extra events like cake smash parties, senior events, school photos, all of those things. A digital backdrop is amazing because and also not just for regular school photos, but all sports. Those people were doing that long before AI made it easy. Those sports photos we would get of our kids back in third grade with soccer and it had the fake background. Now you can make it so that each one of the photos would actually have the student's name, be easy to change, the things that they like or the colors for their teams. It really has a lot of opportunity. And then where to sell is going to be either your own Shopify or Gumroad or Etsy or Facebook groups where photographers hang out. You could also make your own Facebook group and, post different tips and tricks about how to make these types of backgrounds and then also sell them. And you would be surprised how many you would be able to sell to people who decide it's just too much work for themselves. Remember that once you make these backgrounds, unless you have a deal with a photographer where, this one is unique, you can sell them to multiple photographers because they don't all live around the corner from each other. The world is literally wide open for you, and you don't have to always recreate something unless whoever you're working with wants something specific and unique. So the printable party backdrops I was just talking about, and then like I said, when I was speaking to my sister about her business, we were just kind of throwing ideas around about the different ways that we could use things like that for her. And honestly, now that I've thought about it, I'm going to make some backdrops that I can use for summer camp pictures this summer. A long time ago, we actually made a huge backdrop that we made ourselves. The kids helped us. It was on a big, huge piece of manila paper that was large enough that kids could lay on it. And we made puffy clouds out of cotton and some other stuff. And the kids dressed up as superheroes and laid out like this. And they looked like, when we cropped the images, they looked like they were flying. So imagine if you created an image like that and it was for a birthday party or it was just for whatever reason, and kids could actually lay on it because they can be printed in vinyl or even in paper if you're careful, just or the ones that stand up behind you. You're having some kind of event, somebody's 50th wedding anniversary. You've seen those photo op and those photo op areas. We can make those images and people can download the digital file, have them printed at places like um, Office Max, Office Depot, many office stores. There's places online that do it as well. But a lot of those people may want to actually do it locally, especially if they have an event coming up. So you can give them that information as well. And what I was seeing was that the average price is about $40 for a paper backdrop, that 40 to 60 depending on how large it is, for something that's life size enough that a grown up and a child and maybe a couple other people could stand in front of. And then of course the prices go up. If you want something really large where the a group could stand in front of and also maybe have it be in vinyl, some of those prices are up to $150. Now, that's not me talking about what people are paying you. That's me saying what it's going to cost for them to have that actually developed. I'm printed. But when you think about the fact that some of those things can be done professionally for just $40, right? They could have it printed for $40. Now you think about what your markup can be. Because if someone's throwing a birthday party where they want a big photo op, they would be willing to spend money on that quality image, and they can hang it up on the wall, or at a lot of those places where they'll print them, they can buy a PVC frame or a thin frame or that they would attach it to. So a lot of different opportunities for us there. And then you see down here, it says 75 to 150 printed. I did find some that were, 75 was the average, but it looked like regular Staples, Office Max, they had an option that was about 40. Okay, so we're going to use everything today, and we've just had a ton of updates. We know Chat had an update not that long ago. Nano or Gemini had an update today. It's not a Nano update, it's just a Gemini image tool update. Midjourney had an update today going to HD, and Ideogram had one earlier this week. So this GPT that I created for you guys and the skill can create image prompts for all of those tools. And if you're using something else, I would choose to use either the prompt for Nano Banana or Ideogram because both of those prompts are fairly universal and you can use them anywhere. So we definitely have this information already in the Google Doc, but size wise, if you're making a Zoom background, it needs to be 16:9. And since we have specific aspect ratios that we want for all three types of these, party backdrop, sometimes that shape is going to change depending on what your client wants, but we're going to go with a standard of 2:3, which is going to be very common. Sometimes people might want it to be square, but remember it would be very large square. But the reason why I bring up the aspect ratio is because ChatGPT and Gemini, where we can use Nano Banana, they do not create images that are perfectly sized for aspect ratio. They're going to be the right shape most of the time, but they're not exactly the right amount of pixels. So a 1920 by 1080 is a true 16:9 aspect ratio. That's a landscape style photo that you see in a lot of places. But on Zoom, Zoom wants it to be 16:9. So if you make an ish in ChatGPT or Gemini, it may not work out well. So today, instead of using Gemini, we're going to create our images in Google AI Studios, where you can actually make them for free. Probably you're not, most people aren't going to be able to make the 4K images if you're going for like a supersize um, for a party, like one of the big blow ups. but you can, I think, get up to 1K or 2K, and then you should be able to upscale it in one of the upscalers. Otherwise, I would recommend using Google Flow Studios, another place where you can set your aspect ratio, which is going to be the specific size that you need. Midjourney already has that capability, and so does Ideogram. If you're using ChatGPT, I definitely recommend, if you get an image you love from there, or that's just what you're using, that you drop it in Canva and just make sure to resize it properly before you try to do anything else. And most of the images you're going to need for these sizes, you could actually fix the sizing, fix the aspect ratio rather inside of Canva and also upscale there at the same time. But we'll get to that. All right, so you don't need, oh, so here's what we're saying. So try not to need to upscale. That's going to be the easiest way to have one step. So if you're using Nano Banana inside Google AI Studios, or if you're using HD and Midjourney, then you're going to already have a high quality enough image to do any of the things you're doing, and you won't have to go to an upscaler. We do have some free tiers of upscaling products that you can use, and they're listed in there as well. And then one that Joa always recommends to me, and I know works really well, but it can get a little bit pricey, is Topaz Gigapixel. And that one is going to give you great quality, but it is going to be something you have to pay for. And again, if you end up with a business where you're actually generating images, the reason why Joa likes Topaz Gigapixel is because you can bulk upload your images and it will bulk upscale them. So just keep that one in your back pocket. If you start making a lot of images, I recommend you check that one out. So tonight we're going to take a look at our Opal, which is PrettyPay's idea picker. I had to make an opal. We're going to look, we're probably not going to run through the skill just because it works exactly the same as the GPT, but I will show you guys where it is and explain how to access it and how to install it. We've got a pricing guide. And of course, we're going to just err on the side of checking our market as we go and seeing, if we're able to charge a little more, or we might have to bring things down a little bit depending on what we see other people charging once we get started. We've got a backdrop builder GPT called Brook. And then we've got a cheat sheet with some sizes and specs and the upscaling sheet as well. So we talked a little bit about this. Um, Sorry, my Zoom background is really busy today. Um, we can start with some direct outreach where you can use your own site. You can set up your own Etsy. Uh, if you have an Etsy or a Shopify, I think that would be a great way for you to market all three of these styles. Because if you're going to make one, I really think making all three and trying to market all three is a great idea, which is why I only gave you three to work with. All right. So, and then I say pick one, make one, list it this week. But I mean that. Let's pick one type of image, and then at least try to get one put out into the world this week. Because when you get started, you keep going. It's movement. Movement is always the thing. So don't just take this training and then think, oh, in a few weeks, I'll make a background image. Start by me. Look, Erica made herself a Zoom background today. I can't have a Zoom background. And if you watch how I can't sit still, it's because I disappear into the background constantly because I don't stop moving. Um, but, but I do think that, um, if you make one image and post it and talk about it, you'll get motivated. And before you know it, you'll be making more. Yeah, Rita says wallpapers are really big now too for walls, like literally. Yes. And actually, wallpaper is basically an all over print. And so if you guys have the POD training that I did on all over print, you can use art is the name of the GPT to make wallpaper prints, and you can put them up somewhere. And I was literally going to do something about wallpaper this time, and I decided to do that one when I had a couple other things that were similar to go with it. But it's the same thing. If you guys know how to make images, you can turn images into pretty much anything. All right, so I'm going to share again. And we're going to go in here. We're going to start with the GPT. And just, just to say out loud, in case anyone's thinking it, I'm getting all my GPTs moved over to my personal account, so they're not going anywhere. Um, and in the meantime, I'm also creating Opals and Skills as well. Skills are going to work almost exactly the same as a GPT with a tiny bit less personality, but it'll still get the job done. When I start rebuilding the GPTs, I will make sure everybody knows, but what will happen is we'll replace the links inside of the resource documents. And so if you ever go to use one of my GPTs and it doesn't work, check the resource doc because it means that we moved it and we have a new one just in case. They're supposed to be disappearing off Teams accounts in August, but then I heard something the other day that that date had been pushed out and that they may be letting us convert them. I don't know. So you'll know when I know, but just know that they're not going anywhere. I promise you're going to have access to the things that you've paid me for. All right, so we're going to start over here with Brooke, the background builder. And I will tell you guys something, just in case you run into it with this GPT or another one. I don't think you're going to see it with this one now because it's what I was just working on a little bit ago. When you are prompting for something in an image, we sometimes the image tools we're using or the prompting tools we're using will prompt for like, oh, an office background. Well, guess what you're going to get? You're going to get a desk, you're going to get a chair. A Zoom background is going to be, if Zoom background is in the prompt, you're going to get like maybe a TV screen with a bunch of people on it. So what we have to remember when we're creating images is we're not prompting for what we think it is. We're prompting for what we want to show up in the picture. So if what we want in the picture is an ocean background here, right? If what we want in the picture is an ocean background with a bookcase and plants, we don't prompt for an office on the ocean. We prompt for exactly what we want in here. So take a look at this prompt. This says floor to ceiling windows along the left side overlooking a breathtaking turquoise ocean, blah, blah, blah. Okay. And so it does have the negative prompting here, but it probably doesn't need it. When I redid some things in the prompting, for this GPT, I stopped getting issues with, let me show you. I guess I didn't do these in Midjourney. Where did I do them? Uh, Must be this one. Nope, they're gone. Okay, I lied. But when I had originally done this image, there was a desk here, and then Erica had done one also, and hers had a desk and a chair, and that was the first version. And I went, okay, I need to go in and have a conversation with this GPT and change the prompting so that we're prompting for the back wall instead of prompting for um, I'm wondering if no, it's gone. Okay. So anyway, trust me, um, you don't want to end up with all kinds of wonky things. So I'm only telling you that so that if for some reason you're using this GPT and you start seeing something like a desk or something weird that makes it look like it's not going to be behind you, but that someone should be sitting there, just look in the prompt for that kind of verbiage. You should be able to remove it. Hopefully, I've already removed all of it. All right, so we're going to start with a Zoom background. And let me see. Hey, Rita, do you want to make a Zoom background? Where did Rita go?
I can't ever find that unmute button.
I know. We're so savvy.
I
We
know.
can't find the silly mute button. All right, you want to help me make a Zoom background?
Sure, that'd be
All
fun.
right, cool. What do you want? Let's see. We've got a Zoom background. We're going to tell it it's a Zoom background. So a Zoom background.
Um,
And then we'll see what it asks. We'll have some. All right, so who's it for?
let's do for me.
Okay.
Um, marketing consultant.
Marketing consultant. What do you think for two?
Um, gosh, there's so much to choose from.
I know you can have whatever you want.
Let's go coastal.
I did coastal too. I love that. If you have a logo, do you have a logo?
I do.
Put it in the chat if you want, and we'll do it in Google AI Studios and pop the logo in there.
Let me,
Um, Let's go with coastal view. I know you can multitask. What are you thinking for colors, brand colors?
Um, off-white, cream, teal, and orange.
Off-white, cream, teal, and orange.
My logo's in the chat.
Okay. Um, we're going to add a logo. We're going to create this image inside of Google AI Studios with Nano Banana. So whenever you're going to add a logo, just because of the aspect ratio, I recommend using Google AI Studios. If you don't want to use that and you want to use Gemini, I'll show you guys how to do it there. But you're not going to get the correct aspect ratio. So you're going to have the extra step of needing to put it inside of Canva or something else to get that aspect ratio correct. And honestly, Google AI Studios, you'll see it works the same way as Gemini as far as being able to add a logo. It's just that you render the backdrop first and then you add the logo second. That's the way I found that it actually seems to work the best. All right, so concepts. So we've got three concept options. And I know that Rita doesn't love when my GPTs get too wordy, but I feel like we don't want it to generate a prompt without making sure that it's something that we really like. So I wanted it to give us three options. So which one of those do you think you like the best?
Um, let's go number two, modern coastal brand.
Let's go with number two. It chose number one, so we'll rent. I love that he's like, how about number one? And we're like, how about number two? Right. So you're going to see that on here, it sets a 2K resolution. I'm not 1,000% sure if this actually um, is going to set it at 2K. So I always set it myself. But now I'm talking and we just got here, so I want to show you guys. So if you're not familiar with AI Studios, I can have Erica make sure she puts it in the chat. It's aistudio.google.com. Once you get here, you're usually on this page. And what you're going to do instead is click Playground. Once you go to Playground, if you don't see the image option, you're going to hit Models. And then you're going to go to Image Creation. Okay, and you can use the free tier or the paid tier. You can use regular Nano Banana down here. You do need to have a free Google account at the very least, like a free Gmail account that you're using. I have Ultra, so I just usually use the top tier, but you can actually get a ton of usage free in here regardless, because this is a developer tool, and it's why I like to work in here because you get a lot of cutting edge kind of technology. And because they're letting developers play in here, you do get free usage. I'm going to use the paid one and let me move my Zoom window over. Okay, so on this side, what I want you to pay attention to before we hit run, I just copied and pasted in here, is we're toggled to images and text. I leave it on that so I don't have to think about changing it if I'm going to be rendering text. Aspect ratio is set to auto, and right here it says 16:9. But if your prompt doesn't have an aspect ratio, you can go in here and choose from any of these, which are amazing. 16:9 is your landscape, 9:16 is your portrait. So since I'm there, I'll go ahead and hit it anyway. But since it's in the prompt, it would have rendered. And then we've got this tab for resolution. And I'm going to go ahead and hit 2K because that's what was recommended by the GPT. And I want you to remember that this should be off. Grounding with Google search is great if you're doing certain things, but when you're rendering images, it just slows everything down and muddies up the water. All right, so once we've made our choices on this side, we're going to go ahead and just hit run. There's also in Content Creation Ninja 4, I showed how to batch prompts in here. There's a prompt structure in there that you can batch with, which is pretty cool. So that if you were doing tons of images, you could do a ton of images. That I don't like at all. That's garbage. Let me tell my GPT. Um, that's really terrible. And the coastal views are like fake on the wall. You need to do better. Just do better. What are you doing? He's like, well, I did recommend number one. Let's see.
Yeah, that doesn't look coastal at all.
What's happening? I don't know, but sometimes it's the prompt, sometimes it's the tool. I was getting really great ones earlier with the same tool. Oh, so here's what I did. I'll show you this one. I did this one and then I rendered it again um, with blank space on the wall. And then I took my sister's logo. She has a shaved snow business called Vampire Penguin. That's what I had upscaled for her. And I had it, and you can talk to this tool in here the same way you would to Gemini. Add the logo on the back wall in a wooden frame, have it be larger than the other two photos on the wall, and then it created this image, which I
Yeah.
thought was pretty cool. And so my sister zoomed in. She goes, "It looks cross stitch." She goes, "Now I want to cross stitch one on my wall." I told her that I would render that with AI for her anytime she wanted. All right, so let's see who we blamed. Good catch. The problem was it drifted into wall decor instead of believable blah blah blah. I just want to be like, you did it, dude. Don't blame me. All right, let's see. We've got the same settings over here. And just a disclaimer, it's still AI, in case you were wondering. I can get a zillion wonderful everything, and then you get a bunch of, while we're in here, let's see if we can just get, can you give me the same prompt, but for Midjourney? While we're waiting, we'll just make another one.
So are most Zoom backgrounds like in a space rather than like
They can be whatever you want. A lot of people use their own photos and they do things. The one thing I want to call out here is if you look at these images, it left a blank space because we said there was going to be a logo. So that's pretty cool. These would not have a blank space if we didn't say we told it specifically to leave one. Now, Midjourney is not going to be great about adding your logo here. There's ways you can try with OmniReference, but I wouldn't do it here. What I would do if I loved these images more than whatever we got from Nano or a diagram or something else, I would go ahead and just have Chat or Gemini or Google AI Studios add the logo in after. But let's see what we got here. That's still, I don't know why Google AI Studios is like coming in a mess with that prompt. Let me read the prompt. Sophisticated feature wall design for video calls. No, I don't like it. Um, Google AI Studios and Nano is still having a really hard time with that prompt. The Midjourney prompt was amazing. There's something about your wording for that prompt that's not working for Google AI Studios. It just looks like a weird wall, super close up, and there's no depth, there's no real window. And I get a lesson. No, I don't want you to say a Zoom background. Well, all right, we'll try it your way one more time, dude. Just one more time. Erica's busy building backgrounds in the background. All right, you know what I'm going to do though? I'm going to hit new chat up here because where's my new chat? I have it covered with my other thing. Okay. We're going to give you one more shot. I do like this, but while we're over here in Midjourney, let me show you guys this. When I made this one the first time, I thought it was a little bit too cartoony. And so one of the ways that you can fix that is to grab an image like as a, I don't have my mood boards on. Let me just double check. I don't have my mood boards on, but one of the things you can do is grab a photorealistic image that's like a real photo and just use that as, oh, there's a picture of Shannon as a style reference. And then a lot of times you'll get, so do you see how all of a sudden it's more like a photograph and less like a drawing? And that's just by using a style reference. We still got a desk, which is going to sometimes happen, even though it says no desks and it's not. I found that with the Zoom prompts, like I said, but we did get one. And so we can change that one subtly and just see we get something else that's similar. Yeah, I totally like that.
Pretty. I
Yeah,
like
it's
that
not bad.
one that you had on Midjourney where it had an opening for the logo. That,
Oh, this
yeah,
one?
that one. That's beautiful.
Yeah, it's nice. And what I would do, we'll take that. I'm gonna actually, while we wait to see if Google AI Studios, oh, that's better.
It's
That's
pretty.
much better. Much better. Yeah. Um, I like that. Which one do you like better, the Midjourney one or this one?
I like them both, but I think the Midjourney one because I can stick my logo in there.
So let's go over to Gemini. You could do this in two ways, guys. You could go right to Canva and you could add it in Canva, and that might be easier, right? Since we're going to probably have to go back to Canva anyway. But I'll show you how to do it here also. We're just Gemini.com. I'm going to grab this and let me go to the chat and grab your logo real quick. Oh, Sandra, I love that. Now I'm just starting to see things. Ah, there it is. I remember when you were asking us about your logo. Okay, let's minimize that. So I've got this image uploaded to Gemini, and then let me just grab her logo that I just saved. And then you're just going to prompt it. And I would not bother to have something write a prompt. I would just say words. So I'm going to say, remove the background from this logo and place it in the blank space on the wall in this other image. Keep it as close to a 16:9 ratio as you can. Well, but we'll see if I got it close enough. And then, like I said, I would, if you were selling this to someone or using it yourself, I would open it up in Canva. That's kind of cool, right?
That is awesome. I
I'll
love it.
definitely send that to you.
Thank you, dear.
Yeah. And so, just because I actually have, oh, I don't have, hold on one second. I'm going to reshare, but I'm going to share my whole desktop so I can show you um, what I would have to do in Canva. So can you, Rita, can you see my Canva? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So this is actually what I would do. I would go here to a custom size and you're going to want to set it to inches. And I would go 16:9. Because now we have it the size that we would need. And then I would upload the image that we just created for Rita. And we're going to set it to the background. Now, this might be really close. Whoops, my Zoom is in the way. Um, all right, it won't let me set it because it's not the correct aspect ratio. So what we're going to have to do is get as close as we can. And if for some reason you make one and like this is really close, so you probably can just stretch it and just cover the edges and be done. If you make something and that doesn't work, right? It's just the wrong shape, or you make it in chat and it's a little wonky. Um, the best thing to do is use, if you have the Pro tool here, you can use the Magic Expand, which is an option you can use. So this is now a true 16:9. And then you would just go ahead and download it. I would download it as, well, hold on, let me check. I want to use the upscaler. I have to just minimize myself. I'm in the way. Get out of the way, Shan. Okay. So down here in apps, I would go to, there's two different ways you can upscale here. You can use the app, and then they also have one in Magic. I like just the photo upscaler. I don't want to do that one. Hold on, go back. I'm going to use the other one. Let me go back to tools. Click here, click edit. That's where it is. Okay. So then we've got this upscaler that's just part of Canva, which is easier to use, less convoluted. All right. So it says now it's all upscaled, and we'll be able to see when we download it. I'll look at it after it downloads. And this is going to be Rita. So it's the right size, it's upscaled. And the way that we created it in Midjourney, we didn't actually create it as um, we didn't create it in Midjourney as an HD image, but we were going to have to add the logo anyway. But in Midjourney, when you create an image, if I were to go here, once I knew what prompt I wanted, where's my, go back. Where's my HD? Oh, because I'm in regular Midjourney, not alpha. You can put HD in your prompt, but you should also be able to choose it here. And why can't I find it? Right size, varieties. Oh, standard HD. Thank you. So you would just click over to HD. I was in standard. You can click HD. And then when you generate the image, I would always, I mean, the thing is, you may not get the exact same image the next time. You can use a style reference. You can use the seed number. We've done that before. But once you get what you know you want, then I would start generating a few in HD, but I wouldn't start with HD because you don't want to be wasting that. That's kind of funky with the door to nowhere. All right. Do like that one too. And at least we did finally get the image that we were looking for. Okay. Where were we? Oh, so we made a Zoom background, and I wanted to just come off here real quick and see if anyone had any questions about Zoom backgrounds, because then we can jump into the next one. Oh, yeah, Connie, if you're not familiar with that, upscaling is just meaning, you remember we used to try to blow up regular photos and they would look all grainy? That's all it is. If you're making images for something that's going to be small, you don't have to worry so much, because most of the tools we're using, even ChatGPT has a higher resolution now than it used to. If you're using Midjourney or Google AI Studios, even most of what you're getting from Nano Banana and Gemini now are going to be perfect for most things. But when you're talking about, because even a digital backdrop for a photographer, it's not going to be huge. It's going to be a photo. So it's going to still be small. Those printed backdrops for parties and events, those you're going to want to have those be 2K to 4K. Yes. Is it, tell me your name. Is it
That's
that your
Rosine,
whole
yeah.
name?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Hi, ma'am.
Okay. Hi, how are you?
I am good. Hello, everybody. So I am not quite, I see when people are doing Zoom backgrounds, but they
Mhm.
seem kind of funny to me when there's actually a person in front of them. So the way that your room is set up right now, I can understand why that would be a perfect backdrop for a Zoom meeting. I understand that. But when I ran the one of the prompts, um, it put a desk to the side. You
When did you use it?
just a minute ago.
Okay. Yeah, I'm surprised because I haven't been having that happen too much. But if that happens, you can put the prompt in the chat and I can probably fix it for you, or you can tell the GPT. It may not be the GPT, it may be the tool you're using to render it, because we did see that happen a couple of times
Okay.
with Gemini too. It's still AI, so sometimes, it's going to do a thing, but and we did see that also in Midjourney, that I had gotten a couple that had a desk and a couple that didn't.
Okay.
And it's probably because it said Zoom background
Okay.
in the prompt.
And so you would not, that's not something that you would want to give or offer. You would want it to be very empty so that the photographer or the Zoom person can just be in front of an empty room. Is that my understanding? I'm trying to
Well, it could, oh
understand.
yeah, absolutely. So it depends. sometimes people are wanting to have a Zoom background. Like there's someone in one of my mastermind groups, she loves Friends. So she's in front of the Friends living room and you can see the door at the back and whatnot.
Okay.
Sometimes people have photos from a vacation or they look like they're outside. And that's also, really common. Sometimes people just have a flat background. I know Enid is coming up and hers is more of that empty room style you were talking about, and then she's got her
Yes.
business information across the side. I have friends that have it where it just looks like they're in front of a whiteboard and it's a bunch of information about their business.
Yes.
And there are cases where you could have, if you look at Sharon's, hers looks like a living room, but if she were wanting it to look more like an office, maybe there would be another desk in the back. You just wouldn't want it to be like at the beginning at the front because then it would look, that would look weird. But I think
Yes.
different people are going to want different kinds of Zoom backgrounds. And so if you find, if you talk to whatever client you're working with, then you'll find out what they're looking for. Like a lawyer probably wants something super professional with like law library books behind them and, like plants and things. I just knew that I was going to have a real room. So I made the back of my room look like my Zoom background would have looked. So this is like my room. But
Okay. Okay.
um,
Thank you so much. I appreciate
you're
that.
welcome. Does that help?
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. Thank you. Hey, Enid, how are you, girl?
I'm good. Couple of questions.
Sure.
So we upscaling to 2K. We are not increasing the resolution also, like to 300 dpi or just upscaling size
Well,
wise.
when you upscale, you're going to automatically increase the DPI. So that's what we focus on. Like when we were doing a lot of stuff with the print on demand, we knew what the
Mm,
DPI needed to be, and that was
mm,
more important. Like we always wanted to stay around 300, 350 for most of the products that we made, like sweatshirts, t-shirts, hats, all
yeah.
that stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we want to focus on the 1K, 2K, 4K, because that's what the tool that we're using for image, that's what we can set. And so like we're asking for that because it is interpreted, or rather it turns into the DPI that we need. And it really is not a high number of DPI that we need for these products. A Zoom background is technically very small. It looks like it's a
Yeah,
room, but it's just a
yeah.
16:9 image. It's the
Okay,
same size
yeah.
image that's like a hero image on one of my trainings, right? So it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
have to be huge. I wouldn't use 4K. You could use HD if you really want to, especially if you're doing photorealistic. But I will say that you don't need it to be super, super large. Um, if you're talking about the printable ones, though, and that's where I
Mm-hmm.
was trying to make the distinction. So we also think about, oh my gosh, like a backdrop for, a newborn
Yeah.
photo or for a graduation photo. It's not really big. They're going to print it as an 8 by 10. You know what I mean? Or print it as a five by
Yes.
seven, right?
Yeah.
But when we talk about the backdrops for parties,
Mm-hmm.
then we're talking about that's a thing you're going to print and four people are standing in front of it. That should be
Mhm.
4K, you know?
Okay.
Yeah. Does
Uh,
that make sense?
yeah. Now my other question is,
Yeah.
so I'm going to be at a major conference presenting in August,
Hmm.
and this is a good kind of product to be selling to the people who are there, kind of mostly business people.
Yeah.
What's the best way for me to showcase this service?
So are you going to have like a table or space
No, I'm a
there, or you're
presenter.
going to be
I'm a presenter, so I'm just gonna
okay.
be meeting people and talking
Hmm.
about my business and things like that.
Okay. So are you going to be presenting like this is something you would add to your presentation?
I can't add it to my presentation, so it'll be
Okay.
afterwards, like when I hand
Okay.
out my business cards and that kind
Right.
of stuff.
Well,
Yes.
here's what I would do. I on my phone have, let me see if I can get to my lock screen without, I have 8,000, I'm on a Zoom, so I have 8,000 things on here. You may have seen me show this before. That's an image that I made fake clouds and I added, you don't have to have the clouds, but I did QR codes. And so I like that on my phone because I'm always holding my phone, and that's low friction for people. They can scan the QR code, it takes them to my Facebook or my Instagram, and they can choose which one. So I would, if I were you, I would do some kind of a landing page or a Google Doc or something
Mhm.
like, on your website or whatever, and have that as a QR code that's going to pop open. Like if this was my offer and I was selling it as a funnel, right? Like,
Mhm.
or
Mhm.
selling it through a funnel, I would
Mhm.
QR code to the funnel because in case anybody doesn't know, you can make a QR code out of any
Yeah.
URL and you can
Yeah.
do it in Canva for free. So once you make that QR code, it's just, the first conference I went to, the first big one I went to in Dallas, I
Mhm.
had downloaded an app that people could whatever and we could connect. It was a pain in the neck for everyone because you had to
Yeah.
have that one to make. This is easy. Everyone can scan it. Doesn't matter what kind of, Android, Apple, and they go straight to the page you're sending them to.
Okay. All right.
That's what I would do. And that way your best thing would be talking to people about it
Mhm.
and then going,
Mhm.
you can show them stuff, right?
Yes.
But also you can
Yes.
go, oh yeah, here. And also at those events, I definitely recommend that your goal is to get people to follow you on Facebook or Instagram, wherever it is that you live with your stuff, because that's an easy, like, even if they go look at your page, if they look at your page, but they don't buy right that minute, you lost them in a sea of people in Ohio, right? Or whatever.
Yes.
But if you can just get them to follow you on Facebook, now they're going to see what you post next time. So here's what I would do if I was
Mhm.
going, right? And
Mhm.
it's what I've done in the past. I would take this GPT and I would make yourself a Facebook banner or use Bradley because he makes good ones too. If you have that GPT, make yourself a Facebook banner that goes on the back of your Facebook. You've got your little image and you've got your big cover photo.
Mhm.
And then I would put a button on it with, put your offer, put a button on it that looks like they can click it. People click it because they don't know. And then once they click in, they've got a smaller image of that image and the comment section shows. Put a comment on that image that is the link to your funnel. And so
Okay.
if you get people to go to your page, hopefully they will follow you. And if they don't, at least they'll see your offer. And that would be my recommendation because you can and give them two options. If you have an Instagram or a TikTok or, give them
Mhm.
all of the places, or you can also make a link tree. But I'll tell you what, for places like conferences, I don't love link trees because people open a link tree and look at it and move on. I really feel like if someone likes you when they meet you, Enid, they're going to follow you on Facebook, which is one click. It's less friction than anything else they can do. And now you've got them. And the next time you post a thing, and keep that in mind. If you're at an event, post some stuff because if you're getting new people on your account, then
Yeah.
that's when you want to post, make a video, post a thing and it'll pop in their feed. Does that make sense?
Yes. 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 Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome, hon. All right. I hope that makes sense to everybody. Yeah, I see that issue with that image that there's a desk, and it is because this prompt said minimalist office, and that GPT is not supposed to do that. That's why I said, when did you do it? Because I made changes to it. See that same prompt, I just ran it and it's showing a person now, which it should not be. So let me go back to the GPT. Hey, somebody just got this prompt from another version of um, this GPT, and I'd like you to rewrite it so that we don't have a desk or a person in it. How would you rewrite this? All right, so let's try this one. I'm going to put it in a couple places. See what we get. It'll be done faster here. See, we still, out of them, we still got one with a desk. And I think that's just going to be what AI is going to do to us. We're going to sometimes see that because it feels like it should be an office. So the tools are going to sometimes add that. Let me look and just throw it in regular Gemini. Also, where did I put it? here. Oh, it didn't run. Go. Let's see. This is much better. So this is what regular Gemini gave us. So at least we didn't get a full-on desk. There's some little dumb thing there. Remove the table. But you can do the same thing in Google AI Studios. So wherever we just were, remove the desk, the chair, and the person. Oh, I'm already doing a thing. Okay. If I hadn't already put in another prompt, you could just go in and just tell it to take that out. I know that's not optimal, but for the most part, what I'm getting from this GPT, see, this really wants there to be a person here. I'm going to go ahead and open it again. Let me see. Flow brand environment, gold lighting. Run. Run. Oh, an error. You don't like me? All right. No people, no conference tables. Sometimes the negative prompting is worse. But no, there we go. Okay. Second time's the charm. So that's my
Wow.
recommendation. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
That's a good one. I will put that in the chat so you can grab it. So what I recommend with AI, and here's the thing, I work with kids and I work with AI. And what I'm going to tell you is just don't just don't take anything personally with kids or with AI. Like sometimes it's going to do a thing, it's not going to be right. And we can, you know, figure out why all day long. I've done a really good job at kind of figuring out why things go wrong. And, and I don't mean it like, yay with me. I mean, I spend a lot of time trying to figure out why things go sideways so that I can fix them. But sometimes you just go, next, you just do it again. And
Yes,
that came out pretty cool.
that
So
did.
don't feel like you're doing anything wrong. Just let me see. Just try again. I don't know
Okay,
what's
it
happening.
would be the
I'm
perfect
trying
back.
to add this picture in the prompt, and oh, it's trying to capture a thing because I did something wrong. Hold on. Upload. There we go. From my computer. And where's that new one? There it is. That's so pretty. All right. It's not going to be probably the same, the right size because it's going through the chat. You might need to upscale it if you want to use it. Not for a Zoom. I'm sure it's fine for a Zoom. But if we put anything else in there, but that's a pretty one. I like it.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're very welcome. All right. Does anybody else have any questions about Zoom backgrounds before we try to jump somewhere else? Did you see anything, Erica? See, Rita, it's not just you. Erica's like, what? Come off mute? What? Erica, you can finally talk again. Come
I'm
on, there you
here.
are. There you are. If you don't know, Erica couldn't talk for like 100 and something days. She was counting.
Yes,
How
103.
many? 103 days with no voice. She ran
Yes.
my chat so quietly.
I now I never shut up, right? Okay, here.
I know.
I'm
Now
going to
she
mute.
doesn't. All right. All right. So we don't have any more questions. So let's go to the next one. Let's go. All right. So I want to go to the chat and we're just going to start a new chat. Let's go, Brooke. All right, so let's make a digital backdrop. I want to make a set of photographers' digital backdrops for fall photos. Think Halloween, harvest, festival kind of stuff for kids' photos. And I'm doing that because if you're thinking about creating backdrops, fall is what I would be prepping for right now. Of course, you could do some for summer as well. We've got a little summer to go. But if you're planning on making this into an actual monetized business, I would definitely think about throwing down some fall and some Christmas things to get them listed wherever it is you're going to put them. Just remember, you almost want to be a quarter ahead. It's the same thing I sold for almost 20 years on eBay, and you're literally selling it's like we laugh when you go to Walmart and they have all the Valentine's stuff out and it's not even like it's just been Christmas 20 seconds ago. That's the kind of stuff that you want to do. You want to follow along with the crazy Walmart theme because that's how early things should be online for people to find them. All right, so this is going to ask us about the photographer's client. You may or may not have that information already. If you're not working with a specific client already or a photographer, you can just, just take a shot in the dark and try and guess what you want to work on. So I'm going to say mixed children's session, orient portrait, so 2-3. I'd like to do a series. So let's do a pumpkin patch entrance, rustic red barn scene, and a sunflower field with pumpkins. I like your color theme. Oh, it came up with a storybook Halloween. That's kind of cool. Let's do those first, and then we'll do a storybook Halloween after. Pack B Cute Halloween. I want to create these in Midjourney and in Google AI Studios. So could you make me 2 sets of prompts for each image, please? And thank you. I'm so polite. All right, so let's see how these come out. So when we are here, this, I'm just looking to see professional photography backdrop, highly detailed, and I'm just going to say, can you create another set of prompts for Midjourney, being specific about the camera style and the lighting, so that we can make sure it's very photorealistic? And I showed you guys one trick, but I want to show you. Oh, so here's the thing. I didn't want this GPT to be super overly complicated because we're not always going to want that, but it is programmed to be able to give you more specific prompts with having the lighting correct, because one of the things that makes backgrounds and backdrops look a little off is when they don't have a lighting source or when your image doesn't have a light source. So if it's going to be a zoom, you would kind of want most of the light to come from the front, or you want it to come from the side. But because the person is probably going to be lit from the front, too much light from the side is going to make it look off. And when it's a zoom background, that's fine because we know it's pretend. But when you're talking about something a photographer is going to use, you want to think about where their light source is going to be. And you can request that. And then the prompt you get will be a little different. So we're going to run this one and then we're going to run it again. And both of these are going to be in HD. So I'm going to look at this one. Does look photorealistic for the most part. But I do feel like these with that extra camera language, they're just a little more sharp. What do you guys think? Can put it in the chat. I do feel like these are a little more sharp with that extra camera language. That's totally a backdrop that a photographer would use. I like those very much. Okay, and let's go back, and I want to take the ones, I'm going to just put these in real quick and let them run. And then we'll go try them in Nano Banana also. And I actually, whoops, don't put it there. I'm going to pop some into Ideogram too, so you guys can see. And you might have to play around with the aspect ratio of the buildings too, because depending on where the person is going to be standing, you may want the barn larger or smaller. Oh, that's super cute. This would be great for a baby if we put a thing there so that a baby could be in it. Those are really cute. I love that. All right, so I want to grab, what are you telling me? Let's see. Same camera lighting language across all the images. Yes, that's a good idea. Let's grab the ones for Nano Banana and we'll just see what we get there. Okay, not a minute. And we can try them in Gemini as well. And then oops. See which one's going to come up first. And then we'll go into ideogram also. Oh, that's pretty cool. Nice. I like that one. What I love about the way these prompts are coming out is that they're leaving the blank space for where photographers can put their people in. Very similar, but I like it. And then just for giggles, can you create one of those images here as well? The autumn sunflower field. Now I've probably woken the monster because we haven't had this happen at all. And anyone who's been in my trainings or playing around with GPTs trying to get prompts knows when ChatGPT had their latest update, they were so proud of their image creation that you could barely get it to give you a prompt. It just was like, how about an image? How about another image? This is very annoying if you're trying to run a training. So chat does take a little bit longer now that it does a little bit of a better job. Finishing up. That's pretty decent. Let's see. I do think because of where the sun is, I do think that I like this one, the sun coming from the back, but photographers might like this one better without such a brightly lit background with the sun. You did a pretty good job. Um, Let me see if it'll tell us what, let's see. Oh, and this is, you can, whether you come here or you do it from over there, you can always end up editing. Can you tell me what the resolution is on these images? Those are plenty big enough. So I don't even think you would need, um, yeah, that actually, I mean, that would be overkill, but you could still upscale it. But where it is right now for a digital image, for a photographer is plenty of resolution, 1000 by 15. Yeah, let me see what you can do with a photographer optimized version. If you're going to render images for this type of project, I would recommend doing it with this GPT because it also knows, it has all of the background knowledge of what sizes and what specifics and the lighting and things. So if you like using ChatGPT for image creation, I mean, honestly, you could do a big chunk of this type of business by using ChatGPT with the custom, let's see. Yeah, I like the lighting in that a little better. Um, by using this custom GPT on a $20 account and then using the free version of Canva or a free upscaler. Okay, so we've gotten our, I really like that one with the barn for fall. So we've gotten our photographer backgrounds. And then one thing I did want to show you, let me go back because I lost my conversation. This is not something that it's going to do automatically because I don't want people getting bogged down if they're already on to, okay, I'm going to make this image and move on. But, okay, well, I have a pack of these fall photographer backdrops. Now I need to know what to do with them. Can you give me a step-by-step plan on how I can build out this business? So regardless of which product that you're creating right now, you absolutely can go in and ask it to help you with a business plan, help you figure out where to do your upscaling. You can figure out how to create your assets and your marketing tools. It's not going to write your copy for you for Facebook, because that's just a little too much for one GPT to do well. But if you've done trainings with me or with other people, you probably have content creation tools that you could use. So it's got your steps here, create your mock-ups for photographers, for the photographers. So you can you can put your subject in. So let's try that real quick. Let's take the one from, let's take, which one did I love? This one. So let's download this. So say we were going to make a mock-up for a photographer. This is what I would do. And I would probably just do it in Gemini, or I would do it in Google AI Studios if I was doing it with an image they had. So let's do it two ways. Let's start with this image here. And I'm going to I'm in Google AI Studios, and I'm going to upload a file. Let me see if I can find something that I can add that is a person. Somebody who has legs. That might be the issue, finding a person with legs. I could have thought about this before I got here. Here, we'll do it with this ninja. This is not what I would do. Can you add this ninja into the photo? She has legs. Where did you add it? I don't see it. Oh, there she is. Okay, so not exactly what I would do, right, with the ninja, but you can see that you would be able to, on one of these images right in Google AI Studios, you can add an image of a person, a baby, or whatever to give as an example in your mockup. And if you're creating this as a set for a photographer, what I would do is show all of the images, and then I would show at least one of the images with a character, like an actual person in them. That would work. And you can do the same thing here. You can add, we'll just do the same thing with our little ninja. Can you add this ninja to the image? Oh, it's telling me I need to add the other image. You're a jerk. Oh, then it said, I don't know what you're talking about, dude. What's your problem? Let me find, let's see. I'm going to just give it the other. I haven't downloaded the other one yet. We'll see if it gets it. Usually if you just did if the image is the last thing, you could just upload the other image, but it's AI and it's being difficult. There you go. That actually, size-wise, that one is a little bit better. But that's pretty cool. And I'm getting so many cool ideas sitting here right now with these backdrops and these that I think that's pretty neat. So photographer backdrops. Any questions about photographer backdrops? Or would you show the people in the photos? Oh, I think I just did that. Look at that, Angela. I answered your question without knowing you asked it. Um, I have to real quickly open a door because Max is coming apart at the seam for 15 minutes. But I would definitely, as I said, I would definitely, when I was listing them, or even if I wasn't listing them somewhere, if I was just sending them to a specific, photographer, or posting them on Facebook in photographer groups or on my own Facebook, I would definitely include the images the way that they are. And then I would add on to them, one or two images where you would have a person in them. And Erica says she wants the real barn. I know. That's a good one. Oh, let me see what Sandra made. Going insane over here. I know. And the thing is, we look at that and we go, oh, once we make it, Like that's so easy. Like if somebody wanted a Zoom background, they would just surely they would make it themselves. No, they wouldn't. They don't know how to do that. Yes. That is correct. So the CMYK is if you use Canva, you usually, and there's other Printify, there's other places where you have those two options. And so you definitely want to make sure that you have the highest quality. And that's a great tip, Rita, because you do want your colors to match. If you have hex codes, so if you're dealing with a photographer and they, or not if necessarily even a photographer, even in a Zoom background for a corporation, and they have a logo and they have specific colors and they have hex codes, know that AI tools don't always render the exact color of a hex code, but they can get pretty close. And most of the time, it's close enough that people either don't notice or they don't care. If you want true hex codes, you have to use different tools. But I haven't seen that there's much of an issue because, like I said, they can get pretty close. Um, Yeah, I love that that looks so real. And again, if you're creating backgrounds and you're not happy with the, the what they look like, I mean, this would look so much better if that was a real person. Sorry, I couldn't find a people with legs. Um, I didn't want a headshot in there. Um, but you know, if you are creating an image and it's not looking as photorealistic as you want, those photo um once you tell the GPT, you'll get it. But just so you understand, full frame camera using 85 millimeter lens as with an f2.8 sharp focus, blah, blah, blah. So these are terms that are going to make the AI tool make it more photorealistic because instead of it just being a photo of or a picture of, we're giving it that camera language that it's going to try and mimic what a photo would look like if it was taken with that particular type of camera lens and whatnot. And that is something that photographers will appreciate. All right, so the next thing I want to jump onto, and then we should still have plenty of time for questions, is let's see, new chat. All right. Is there anybody that wants to help me build out a printable backdrop? Oh, Sharon, I'm looking at what you just put in the chat. That's beautiful. And so that may answer some questions from earlier. It doesn't always have to be an office and it doesn't have to be an empty space. It can be a beautiful space. It can be, a space with a Christmas tree in the background at certain times a year, or that type of space, but with fall decor, or, and you could change that same room to have different seasons. And another thing you might want to think about is if you sell a Zoom background to someone, do an upsell, sell them the seasonal ones that might go along with that if it's something that they love, and find a way to incorporate their business in that as well. All right, so let me see.
I could
Go
also
ahead.
suggest that you can also sell these to people who do lo-fi
Mhm.
because that you got blues, jazz, country, all of that. And they're the people who can make the music are not necessarily people that could actually make a room.
Right, exactly. Yep. And I also think that for realtors, it's a great opportunity for them to be able to showcase a house that they're selling
Oh,
or a
yeah.
room from a house that they're selling. So think about that. I know Rita's working with real estate agents right now, and you can take when you're working with AI. Now, this is not a thing you can do with Midjourney, but you can do it with Nano Banana inside of Gemini. You can do it with Chat, and you can do it in Google AI Studios. You can take a real room, add something to that room, right? Like I could actually do my office inside of, yeah, virtual staging. I could actually take a room inside KidSpace, change it slightly for the season or whatever, or my office, but I could add something different behind me or, add little things to it. And that could be your backdrop. So if someone says, "Oh, I have this, big pool, outdoor pool space at this house I'm selling, but I want to have whatever," and you can upload that image to an AI tool have the other tool help you write the prompt, the GPT, and then I think that goes a long way. Eric, I have to ask you a question. Did you change your personal photo to the pretty pays? And then you have your background when you're there. That is fantastic. Did you guys catch that? When her camera's off, she's got an advertisement sitting there. That is great. Because when I leave, it's just me and coffee. But I think it needs to be a ninja or something else. So Connie, if you look at Erica, if you can see her, I'm going to bring her up so that you guys can see. I'm going to pin her. No, Hansel, I'm trying to spotlight you. Why won't it let me? It won't
So
let me spotlight
is it
you.
just switching the backgrounds? Is that what Erica's doing?
No, she made it her profile picture so that you have a profile picture. Like when I'm not here, my camera's off. This is my profile picture that just got swept up because of Facebook, and I need to
Mm.
update it, right? So, but I could change this to be something like what she has so that it's advertising my business even when I'm not here. And then when she is here, come back, Erica, come back. Then she has an actual Zoom background that shows up behind her when she's here, which is cool. She's like, I don't know, I can't come back. There she is. She can't figure out why she's so zoomed in. It's a good thing she's beautiful because she's close up and she's like, I don't know why I'm right here. It's happening. Right? I know, Connie. Connie, I'm so glad you're here. Connie never makes it she never makes it. And I think I like a nighttime. I think we should do this once in a while. But next time, pajamas. All right. Right? Okay, so
Okay.
let's see. Can I get I'm looking to see who's kicking around. Hey, Sandra, are you busy? Do you want to help me make the backdrop?
Sure.
Cool. You got kids and all kinds of things, so I know you can come
Yeah,
up with something. It
I
doesn't
have
even have to
headphones.
be for kids. Yeah. No, no, no. No, I meant you have lots of things you would want a background for or
I
backdrop
do.
for.
I'm
Yeah.
playing
Okay.
around with the back to school right now.
Oh, fantastic. All right, so let's build one here. So we're going to do number 3,
Okay.
and then we'll see what it tells us. I really love this training, you guys. I have been having so much
Fun.
fun with all this stuff. It's really cool. And I just keep thinking about like even my client that's the feed store. I've come up with a bunch of ideas for things that they can have in the store that I could create as part of what I do for them. And maybe like add something, 1 or 2 things a month. And don't just stop at things people would take their pictures in front of. Signage, right? Like a big
Mhm.
freestanding something that's showcasing something that's on sale, or like it's really limitless and it's very inexpensive to print those large images. I think it's something that, I know she would pay $100 to $200 for something that was going to be large and live in her store if she was having an event. So if I know I could get it printed for her for 40 or $50, the rest of that money is in my pocket, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Because if it's someone local, remember, you could do the other part for them. You could order it from somewhere, or you could pick it up locally, deliver it to them, and set it up. And now there's more money in your pocket. So it doesn't always have to be a digital delivery. All right. So what are you thinking for your theme?
I'm thinking, let's say unicorns.
Unicorns. And then what's the occasion?
It'll be a birthday party. And it will be 8.
All right. So what do you think for your tools? What do you want to use?
Mm, you know, I've been going in between Midjourney and Nano Banana, and Nano Banana actually has been giving me a better output. But I have it generating both, so I tried on both ends.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm going to say. All right. So do you want it to be wide landscape or tall portrait?
Tall portrait so they can stand.
Oh, I can't even look up when I'm spelling portrait. That says fruit. That's not what I said. Portrait. Thank you. Whisper flow. All right, so do you want to have a name or some other text on there? Oh, guys, by the way, this GPT will help you come up with like clever stuff. So if you want it to come up with some clever terminology that can go on a backdrop, it will help you do that too.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do a clever terminology that involves unicorns.
Sure.
And
Is there one of these options you like? And then we could ask it to come up with that.
I think sparkles, clouds, and stars. The first
Which
one.
one? The first one.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to go with number one, but I want you to help me come up with something really clever that we could say. Do you have a child's name you want to add?
Mia, M-I-A.
The the little girl's name is Mia. All right, so what do we like? We've got so many options.
Oh, actually, two is really cute. 8 Wishes and Unicorn Dreams.
Oh, I like it. Let's go with 8 Wishes and Unicorn Dreams. All right, so let's go to the Nano Banana. And remember, this is the one that we're going to want to worry about our resolution. I'm going to go all the way to 4K. And we're going to go to Midjourney and just see what we get. Oh, I have to go back and get the correct prompt. Like, that's pretty cute.
Yeah,
And
that's
if you
pretty
didn't,
cute.
and if you didn't like the colors, you should be able to just go make the colors brighter. Sometimes the edits in here take a little bit longer than creating the original
Yes.
image, but oh, look at that.
Oh,
Okay.
whimsical.
It is whimsical. And the only issue is there's some wonkiness because, hello, and that would be in the way of people. You'd have to mess around with it a little bit,
Mhm.
but it's not bad. I would probably rerun this a couple of times to see if I could get the text correct. But we're in Midjourney and we're in 8.1. So honestly, if we run it in 8, yeah, I know. If we run it in 8, it's probably going to come out better
Yeah.
because 8.1, but I might have my mood board on. Hold on. I do. Sorry, we try one more time. Oh, I like my mood board. But it totally made it different. So if anybody is trying to use text inside Midjourney, Midjourney V8 still renders text the best, and the only place you can use it is
Mhm.
inside of alpha.midjourney.com. Oh, I kind if only. That's not bad. If
No,
that
it's
was
cute.
moved up. But yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, you could play around with it. That's the thing right now. Like, I love a lot of what we get from, and that's not perfect. I love a lot of what we get from Midjourney, but the text, since they did the updates, it's just not coming out the way that it was,
Yeah.
which sucks, but we can play with it. The other thing that works fairly well is Niji 7 sometimes does a good job. Why is this set to 8.1? Oh, Lord have mercy. Was I still in 8.1? Failed to submit, not compatible with version. Well, is that because why? Do it, because I said. Oh,
Oh, is
what's
it
your
because of the
problem?
HD is on?
Yes, because I have it on standard. I'm gonna just take the HD out because I just want to get the image. Fine, be standard. Failed to submit, not compatible with 8.0. I don't understand. What's your problem? Hmm. I just keep doing it and find out why. Now it went.
There we go.
It probably, yeah. Oh, and now the text is better. So see, reading is fundamental. It's better. It's not perfect, but isn't that terrible? The unicorn is terrible. All right, fine. Fine. I'm trying to give you some publicity, Midjourney. That one, see how it made the
The
same
colors
image,
vibrant. Yep.
right? but it made the colors vibrant. So if there's something that you don't like and it's inside Gemini or it's inside of Google AI Studios, which is technically like Gemini, you can make those edits right there.
Yeah.
Midjourney, I was trying to help you, and you were like, no, I don't want your help. I want to look silly in front of all the people. No, not even that one. I don't love it. I think that this is doing a better job. And if you guys want, we can check out and see. Out of here. It's so weird now that Gemini, when it makes an image, it's like, hey, would you like your image to be so big you can't see it? That sounds nice. So that's a little low. I would totally have the text move up higher, but that was also the Midjourney prompt. Sometimes that does make a difference. But all these tools are going to work. And the one thing I wanted to show you was a diagram. Let's go back and let's see if we can get a prompt for this. Can I get a prompt for this one, but for ideogram?
You know, that update for ideogram, like if I'm like doing stickers, it makes it a little bit weird. I like the previous version better on
Do you?
ideogram. And
I haven't used it a ton.
the text is wonky. Like the text for me was
Hmm.
so good before, and now all of a sudden it's really weird. But
Sometimes that's real.
whatever, ChatGPT I've really written off.
Mm-hmm.
But when I did the images for the book,
Yeah.
that was the only, those were all done in ChatGPT. It was spot on consistency, where Ideogram and Midjourney were terrible.
Hmm.
So odd.
So I have played around in here. They're photorealistic for ideogram is pretty spot on. And so I just went in and this came out. I mean, it was super, super simple, but you can see that it's a mountain background, super
Mhm.
photorealistic, which is nice. Um, and then this was just me working on creating, um, trying to work on a prompt so that instead of getting the picture with this card, I would only get the card. That's very common with prompts. I like these. The only thing I would do is I would make sure that the unicorn was off to the side so the kids could stand next to it
Yeah.
or it was somewhere else. And I could see what you're saying. It's almost as bad as Midjourney when the
Mhm.
text comes through. I was just looking to see if the text said to be elegant, whimsical story seraph. Let me see if we can fix that real quick. Let's not have it be elegant. Let's have it be in elegant. No, let's just have it be in serif. Let's see if it renders the text a little better. Sometimes when we get fancy, our text is too wonky. But either way, if you're using Ideogram, Ideogram does have a free option. Gemini inside of Google has some free usage as well. And if you're in Google AI Studios, Google Flow Studios, or Gemini, you should be able to get, honestly, I think you can get over 100 images a day. And that should get you more than what you need, even if you have to play with the prompts. Those are a little bit better. Not quite as wonky, but I still like I'm with you. I like the Google AI Studio better because with Nano, because I think the unicorn was in a better place. We would just have to prompt for it. So, oh, very cool. I like that Erica made. Nice. Oh, Rita, very cool. That's awesome with the Legos. I love the light that Erica put. That is so cool. Yes, that is perfect for a backdrop. Um, Nice. Very cool, you guys. I love when you share stuff in there. So, there's a few more things I can show you guys in the doc, or I can go over a couple other things, but I definitely wanted to be able to make sure there were time for questions. So if anyone has any questions, whether you want to come off mute or even if your camera's not on, it doesn't matter to me, but I would love to answer anything. I do see some new faces in here tonight, which is awesome. If you have not been on a training with me before and you're here tonight, welcome in. And yes, it's usually this crazy, but always fun. Oh, oh, John, I love that. And I love that you left a blank space where you can pop a logo or something on there. That's really cool.
Yeah, I kind of like those neutral colors. I think they're pretty.
I agree. Yep. And you could absolutely see, I start to think like seasonally and different things. So you could absolutely, if you have an image like the picture you have on the wall, you could change what that was. And you can absolutely take an image like that and do a portal image inside of there and have that picture be another picture. So you could upload another picture to
Ooh.
Gemini or chat. You could, I mean, it could be a famous painting, or it could be, another picture that you created with AI, or anything, a map of your town. Like, so really think detail, because the more you can do for someone, the more interested they're going to be in using your service,
Yeah,
because
I mean, I would never have thought of that. Something that represented them would be great to be put in there, wouldn't it?
yeah. Or what if they really wanted a picture of their grandchildren or somebody,
Yeah.
to be there? You could add that in, and it would, that is a thing that if for some reason your AI tool wasn't doing perfectly for you, you could drop right in with Canva. But honestly, it should be able to work. Oh, I love that, Sandra.
Oh, how cute.
Well, the problem is, yeah, the child. Can you put the prompt in and I'll see what we can do? My first thing would be I would just tell it to remove the child in whatever tool you were using.
I did that, but then it's kept giving it to me. So I just prompted it again to rewrite the prompt completely and make sure that
Mhm.
it's just a space to add a child afterwards. And I'll see, I'm rendering it right
Okay.
now.
Yeah, some of it might be the verbiage in the prompt because it says child. I would see if you probably don't need the word child in there. Let's see if I can grab this. I'll grab the prompt and see what we get. Hey, we have a link in here to the Google Chrome web store from Dale. He passed that on to Erica. So you can add the option to remove the watermark if you're getting the watermark in Nano Banana. I don't have that because I have Ultra, but a lot of people do get that. All right, let me share this and let's go to Google AI Studios. I want to read it real quick. Clear, empty, full-length standing pose space in the lower center. I'm going to do two things. I'm going to run it the way it is. And then, whoops, that's not what I was going to do. I'm going to run it the way it is here. Let me get the whole prompt again. And then I'm going to take that part out. So I'm going to run it in two different places. If you're ever trying to make images, you can have Gemini, regular Gemini will only render one image at a time, but you can have a ton of Gemini windows open, which is what I usually do. I'm going to take this out, photorealistic, empty, blah, 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 and see which one gives us what we want. This, hey, look at that, first time out. I must have the magic touch. I just used your same prompt. So I don't know if you were doing it in here. I will say that those ABCs are a little messed up. Can you correct the alphabet so it says A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J? That would bother me. But let's see how then the second one came out without a child too. Awesome. It was a beautiful there. So if you get something like that, I love Google AI Studios. I love how fast it is. I love how free it is. And I love how easy it is to edit. It's much faster than Gemini. It's got one of their fastest backends in there because it's for developers. So here we are developing an income. I'm going to put that one in the chat for you guys in case you want to grab it. I hope that that's the one with the correct alphabet. We'll see when it's big. Nope, that's the wonky one. Hold on. Of course, I chose the wrong one because it was small on my computer and I couldn't see it. There we go. There we are. Oh, Sandra got it. Yay. It's beautiful. Yeah, sometimes with AI, like I said, don't take it personally. Just run it again and hopefully it will come out the right way. I love that. So I would love, yeah, I needed to, yeah, I don't know who's going to stay up late with me, but I'm definitely going to be staying up later than I mean to. But I made it through the 3 hardest days of summer camp, the first 3 days where we have field trips, where I'm trying to dial in all of the things and do trainings and do everything else. So it's okay. I'll stay up a little late tonight to finish up, and then maybe I don't have to get up at 4:30 tomorrow. Maybe. Um, I would love for you guys to put in the chat for me. You guys are all so smart. We have quite a few of us in here. Tell me a couple of use cases that you can think of. Maybe you've thought of something that I didn't, or maybe you have ideas of, things that you could use them for. I would love to know if anybody is going to actually try and execute a plan to sell these types of images. Oh my gosh, Rita put her background up. That's so cool. I love it. The only thing yes. So what I would do is I would put that in Gemini and I would take that image out that's the picture, and I would have it move your logo over so it's next to your head, and then everybody could read it. Yeah, or just flip them. Yep. I think it's awesome. Yep, you could for sure. So Susan says she likes the idea of putting kids into the images for Christmas, Halloween. Yep. I think that's great. Yep, you can add Santa. I remember, and it was quite a while ago, it was one of the first AI image apps that I ever saw. And it's when my step littles were little enough that they were so believing in Santa. And there was an app that I downloaded, and I'm pretty sure I paid $19 for it. And it basically let me take a picture of my living room where my Christmas tree was, and it added a very photorealistic Santa Claus. And now I've lived on the farm 7 years, and that was at my old house. So I'm trying to remember how old my stepdaughter was. I'm going to go ahead and say that was 8, 9 years ago or more, because we did that a couple years in a row at that house. So maybe 9 years ago, 8 years ago. But it was so cool. And it was brand new technology back then, like that. Everyone's like, oh my God, you added an image over the front of your actual living room. But just think now, all these things that we can do, you know. Um, Oh, yeah. Using an image like that as a lead magnet, you could absolutely put together a pack of Zoom backgrounds for someone for free. Rita's like, I'm gonna move all this stuff around. Doink, 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 doink. But you can absolutely put together a lead magnet pack for sure. Wall art and packs of stage seasonal rooms. That's a great idea, Sharon. That wall art is actually going to be, maybe we'll even do that next month, but there are so many opportunities to take images you've made and make them into wall art. Now, if you're making branded, like themed, specific things for a specific person, like I know Sharon, and Sharon wants this specific artwork for her office, and I can create it based off of knowing AI tools and what she wants, that's going to be bigger money than me uploading things to posters.com or some of these other companies that let you do it. But one of them is not very much work at all, and pays you residuals. So if you niche down into something that's really big, like I know when we were looking at stickers and things, so I'm not saying this is big right now, but like little pug dogs or the little Frenchie dogs in all kinds of funky colors and outfits and doing cute things, right? If that's big and you niche down into that and you put that on a site and your images are better than the other ones that are available for people, you could sell hundreds of them, right? On like a big site. And if all you've done is upload it one time, cross your feet, and went home, then that little bit of money, say you make $200 a month from that, but then you have some stuff on Etsy and you're making $1,000 a month from that, that residual income is really passive income when you can put things like that up seasonally in a lot of different places. And who doesn't want an extra few $1,000s a month? If you can make images, you should be finding a way to monetize them, because most people right now are not making images for money. They're not. People are using them in other things like trainings, but the ROI of trainings is down because so many people are doing trainings. So I recommend finding those small things. Yeah, computer monitor images, Connie, that's the thing. People like images. They make them happy, they make them smile, right? We use images for so many things. Backgrounds for sports, exactly, Sandra. So, for sports pictures and all of that, if you have kids in a sports program, find out who does the pictures, make a background, bring it to the coach, right? And to be perfectly honest, if they don't have someone doing their photos and you can make the digital backgrounds, if you have a good camera, Sandra's nodding, right? Offer to take the pictures for free and then just charge for the digital downloads, right? And maybe what you do is you offer to take the pictures. This is what I would do: offer to take the pictures for free. And then you do a team photo that everybody gets a 5x7, because you can put them on Snapfish and they're going to cost you $1 something a piece, or Walgreens or whatever. What's there, 20 kids on the team? But then you show the parents the individual pictures, they pick the background, you show them one of your kid on the 3 backgrounds, and then you charge something really silly for it, because you're going to just upload it to Gemini and you're going to have it in a hot minute, right? And then it's just a digital download. You email them the thing once they pay you. That's a PayPal link in a Google Doc or in an email, So yeah, and gymnastics is astronomical. Honestly, I should really do that with jujitsu and taekwondo. I'm sitting here like, yeah, do it for soccer. Yeah, I got a whole business where I'm not charging. Sharon's like, what? Yeah, I got a whole business. I'm not charging people for images. Even summer camp, although that feels a little cheesy because they pay enough money. But seriously, parents love stuff like that. And they're already paying money for that kind of stuff. Let them pay you.
And a lot of people who learned Midjourney and ChatGPT aren't making images anymore, but they're now starting to buy. So you don't even need to do prompt packs anymore. Just do image packs.
Oh, yeah,
Office work,
exactly.
yeah.
Yep. And another thing, we're not talking about all kinds of images tonight, and I don't want to open up a whole can of worms, but I do want you to think about, when you're generating these kinds of images, a little can of worms is, people want not stock images for their websites. They want, like when I did my website, and now, of course, I did it last year before I had done a lot of what I've done. And right now, I don't love my website. We all do that, right? Like we're like, I hate it now. I did it so long ago. And I want to redo a bunch of things on it. And that's not happening over the summer. But what I loved about the images I did make on ninjamediaworks.com was that I made them all in shades of, oh, guess what color? Blue. And they are stock style images, right? Of like, the things you put on a website with like the office and the thing and the people and the guy on the keyboard. But they all have those colors across them. And I built them all out in Midjourney. And I was so super happy with how they came out. And someone who's getting a website, they want branded images for their website, and they don't know how to get them or even how to put them together. And you guys have been working on images so much, you understand what goes together. You could put a pack of images together for somebody that would be all of these things. And that's visual branding, right? If you guys have not taken advantage of the free class I have in my store, it's called Visual Style DNA. You can go to the store on ninjamediaworks.com, and it's $0 and you click on it and you can have it. And I did that because you are going to want to take more classes with me if you understand what your visual style DNA is. So there's a great GPT in there that will walk you through all of that. There's another one that will generate images, and start there because you can use that GPT for clients as well. And when you figure out what that style DNA is for their event, their website, whatever, then you can generate the images that they're going to want to purchase from you. And that can include their corporate backgrounds, their big backdrops, and anything else, that might go along with their business. Once you're working with a small company, you'll be surprised how quickly they're going to need more things from you. And if you take away the friction that's involved with them purchasing from you, I mean, I've already seen it. I see it with just the one client that I work the most with. I don't have time for a ton of client work, but I do have 3 businesses that I work with on a regular basis. And every time I go, hey, do you want a big whatever? Hey, do you want? Thank you, Erica. There's the link right there, for Visual Style DNA. It's in the chat. But there are all kinds of things that they want. And I also help them by making videos. And I make videos. I made a video today that's on my Facebook that's really funny. And that was a me video, like me holding the camera. And I do about 5 social media posts a month for them. And I'm putting together their images because their website, literally, I want you to understand that this is a very profitable business in a large, like Fort Pierce, Florida is a large town. Like for people, we have 3 feed stores. They're all big business here because it's so agricultural. They have a website that hasn't been updated or touched in 9 or 10 years. Their Facebook, they just started last year. And the girl who was running it for them, they don't, like, the owners, they're old school. They don't really use social media very much. And so they literally didn't have anything on their Facebook except pictures of feed bags. And one day I popped in and I went, hey, about that. And the next thing you know, I was running their social media, and it's a decent chunk of change. And I do trade out for my feed bill instead of the money because I'm already going to be buying feed. But I want you to think about that. I just approached her and said, hey, this looks like something I could help you with. And do you know what? She was so glad because she had no idea what to do. Now, if I need to know anything about feed for my animals, how to run my farm, she is a brilliant woman, but this is not her forte. It is not in her wheelhouse. So you are assuming that people in your orbit can do these things on their own, or that if they wanted to, they would. But it's not always if they wanted to, they would. Sometimes it's they can't and someone needs to help. So spin in a circle where you are and find a small business locally that needs something, because an extra $1,000 a month for doing 2 or 3 posts a week and then adding on these other little things when they need them can be very lucrative, because all of us can find time to handle 4, 5, 6, 10 clients. 10 clients like that is going to be $10,000 a month. And isn't that the magic number everybody needs to get by? I think it is. Yeah. So, right. So Sandra's put in the chat, in case you won't see the images if you're watching the replay. And it's, it's a summer camp flyer. It looks like, all the kids look like the same kid because it's your basic chat GPT, right? So do better. And what's great about that, I'll go in on some of the parent Facebook posts and on those groups, and I'll go in and I'll post a flyer for KidSpace, and everything else in there looks like that. And my stuff stands out because it's not like that. And you can get a decent prompt or a decent product out of ChatGPT, but you have to know how to prompt for it. And that's like what Sharon was saying. It's like people now, like with the prompts, but it's image packs, it's flyers, it's frameworks that they can use to redo the same kind of flyer. It's a custom GPT. Literally, I rebuilt some sections of my KidSpace custom GPT because my director didn't know how to create images, and I wanted her to do the social media, but I wanted her to do the social media the way I would do it, which meant I had to make sure the GPT knew a lot of stuff, like take out the hashtags. It would tell her, don't add the link to the post. All those things that we inherently know because we've been kicking around AI for a while and social media, she doesn't know. And so I made the GPT so that it would create the flyers and it would add all the things that were important to me that sometimes will get left out by someone. So that's another thing that you can create for clients. You guys, most everybody on this call has been in my GPT classes too. So you could absolutely create those as well. Um, so Sandra, as far as charging for things, I would say that if you're going to start with somebody who does not have a big presence in social media, I would start small for them because they're not going to want to pay big. And so the 3-tier system, it works on us and it also works on clients. I give the moon, right? Like say what I want to get paid. If what I want to get paid is $1,000 a month, I'm going to say, here's a package that isn't enough. It's $500. Here's a package that's $2,000. It's way more than you're going to want to pay, and it's more stuff than you need. And of course, that's not the way you frame it. But and then here's this cute one in the middle that's either 750 or 1,000, and it has exactly what you need with room to add on, because most people are not going to pick the cheapest option, and some people will pick the most expensive one. So that's what I would do. I would decide how much time you have and what you could give. And then I would do, 3 to 5 posts a week is a good place to start. Making sure that a couple of the posts that you're doing are going to get interaction on them so that you can start building up. Because I was able to take their Facebook from only like 100, 200 people to almost 1,000 people in just a couple months. And that was a pretty big flex for them. So I like your background with the kid in it. That was cool. Yeah. You see how she's disappearing and popping back in? That's what happens if I use a Zoom background. I'm like everywhere. You can't see me. But yeah, that's what I would snack. I want a snack too. Um, that's what I would do. I would really honestly, for all of this stuff, I would look around who you see during the day. Even if you work at home, you leave the house, talk to people because somebody needs your service, and that's a great place to start because once you have them, you will immediately start getting other referrals. People know that I handle their social media. So I've gotten other people reaching out to me and I've gotten other work because of it. Miss Enid, what can I do for you, love?
So when do you think you're gonna do the wallpaper class?
July. I will do that in July. I already have, so next week, and I have to do the sales funnel. I have a training Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week, and I haven't even finished the sales funnel. You can buy it in the store, but I haven't finished the sales funnel. It's carousels, reels, and stories on my, and it's basically like one each day showing everybody how to batch create those images if you want to make carousels or you're doing reels or stories in either Facebook or Instagram or TikTok. And I'm really excited about that one. And then I have to say, I'm also excited about the one. Then I'm on vacation for a week, believe it or not. And then the following week, the training is called Out of the Box, something about amazing, outrageous images or whatever. And I just went full bore images completely for this month because I knew it would be an easy flex for me to prep because I didn't have to learn a whole lot. With camp starting. But the tools I built are cool and I'm really excited. Oh, and if you guys did the Opal training last week, our bonus day is Friday. So that's going to be 3:30 to 5:30 on Friday. And if you did not jump in the Opals training, you can still grab it. They're really fun. We did not walk through the Opal that I made for this, but I'll just show it to you real quick and then I got to jump. If you go to the Google Doc, we've got our skill here. So if you have not messed with a skill before, you're going to just follow the link to my Google Drive and you're going to download this skill and you can load the skill right into either ChatGPT, Manus, Computer, Perplexity, or Claude, and it will work the same way that the GPT does, just in case you are wanting to use a different tool besides a GPT. Not everybody has that account. And then we have the Opal, which is a little app, and this is what the training is actually on Friday, and it will probably only take me like literally a minute. So let me run through it just to show you real quick. I want to make $20,000. How comfortable are you prompting? I'm very comfortable. I'm very comfortable. Kind of images. I enjoy making images for creators. I have all the subscriptions to all the cool things. I do have a Facebook group with 4,000 people in it. We'll see if it'll run through quick enough. Sometimes Opals run really fairly quickly. Sometimes if you're asking it to do a lot, this one actually creates a really cool plan. I accidentally closed my window when I had it running. I wanted to look and see. I'll check my other one. No, wait. I have it? Nope, I don't have it. I was checking to see if I had the other one open and comment. It might take a minute, but the output on this is really cool. It gives you a whole huge plan of what you can actually create. When I have Zoom running, it's going to run a little slower too, but you guys have the link to this and you can be more comprehensive with your answers. It will give you a really good plan about how you can put together these images and what you should expect, where you should maybe be marketing. And it's going to also give you a prompt that you can try as well. So it's probably going to take forever because I'm trying to use it right now with my Zoom on, but give it a shot and see what you think. Oh my gosh, Angela, your image is awesome. And you went ahead and added family photos. That is fantastic. And if you market that to people, they will love that. Sandra, did you try the Opal already? Did you use it? Yeah, it's kind of a good one. And if you guys are interested, like I said, the Opal training, I have so much fun making Opals. We're going to be making more of them Friday. I'm going to let you guys go. I got to go finish up with ponies. And I left my back door open so Sam wouldn't bark. And so I'm sure I have to go and whoosh all the mosquitoes out of my house. I had a great time and I hope that maybe we'll do some more in the evening. Thank you guys so much. I hope you have a good night. Bye.